In recent times, the construction sector in India has grown leaps and bounds. There are many factors attributed to it, but the use of pre-engineered buildings for construction activities is steadily rising. PEB offers many benefits such as lower construction time, lower cost, flexibility of expansion, low maintenance, large clear span, quality control, etc. And there are many applications of PEB vis-a-vis factories, warehouses, metro stations, bridges, railway stations, vehicle parking sheds, and stadiums. Thus, PEB provides a better alternative to conventional structures, and with the new technology advancements, it is only going to rise. Today, our respected speakers will be sharing their outlook on how PEB provides speed and quality in construction. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and privilege for me to introduce you to our today's distinguished speakers. Engineer Dr. Abhay Gupta, Director of Skeleton Consultants Private Limited. Mr. Harsh Parikh, Regional Sales Director, India and SAARC Trimble Solutions. Mr. Tushar Shinde, DGM of Sales and Marketing, ALP Aeroflex India Private Limited. And Mr. Dipankar De, Director of Sales and Marketing and Business Development, Zamir Steel Buildings India Private Limited. So delegates, get ready to witness a futuristic session on PEB, rapid construction for the future.
Welcome to the panel discussion. Let's quickly start. Let's begin with Dr. Abhay Gupta. So, Dr. Gupta, what is trending in PEBs in terms of materials and technologies?
Whenever we say PEB, it automatically directs you to steel. Pre-engineered building, though the word pre-engineered building nowhere says it is concrete or steel, but we understand that it is being used for the steel. Correct. For concrete, pre-engineered we call precast. Okay, that's a major difference, though everything is pre-fabricated. When I say pre-engineered construction, the trending thing is, as far as main material is concerned, steel and higher grade steel. We are now using 450 MPa steel. Our friends in the PEB, they all know. Another thing which is trending on the steel is the price, cost, increasing cost, which is a worry for all of us. Not on the technical side, but that is a big factor which is affecting the PEB industry, whatever the reason. So we all of us together, we hope that these things will get under control. Another trending thing is to use everything else integrated. Integrated construction is something which is trending on the PEB. We should not construct and that only one component we are making pre-engineered and being happy that, oh, we have done the structure very fast. But mind well, the structure takes only 40% of the construction time. The other 60% with the other things, services including. So we should use a pre-engineered construction using all the services, and that is what is now coming up. Means the entire house, entire unit, volumetric 3D construction is now trending.
So basically what you're trying to say, sir, is a modular kind of a thing, which, everything kind of fits in, right?
Very correct.
Especially in the digital, like construction is the most fragmented, I think, industry. And I think then we basically segment construction, whether we call it steel, concrete, or anything. Then we further segregate into PEB, structural steel, precast. It's like a huge tree, but this is the most fragmented still. Now, digital is playing a main role, and the primary transformation in construction, which is driving, is the process-based construction, which is more like a manufacturing-centered construction. And that is where the PEB or precast is catching up very fast. It comes, and the moment you talk about a process-based construction, you see the auto industry, you saw the manufacturing industry. They are process-centric industry, and then those process-centered industries are always based on some digital technologies. Not from today, I think from last 20 years. And that is where the revolution in the construction segment is taking place. So inclusion of technology is inevitable. It has to happen. And I think many people are adopting. And there are different ranges and different levels of adoption. Now, where is the biggest change coming? So let me tell you, 3D models, Tekla, or other softwares, fantastic. People are using in pieces. The biggest change, if I look at it, if you are doing a retrofit project, how do you capture the information today? Like, this is the one big thing. So it is like I create it into three segments. You call it the capturing the information is very important. So today we have the most advanced surveying techniques where the disruption is taking place in construction segments. You talk about laser scanning, you talk about LiDAR scanning, we're talking about drone technologies. All of that is causing a disruption, and whether it is a like any construction, a big factory which is to be renovated, whether right, it requires the existing information capture. That's number one. Second, so this is only capturing. I'm just trying to limit myself in the time. The second information is about creation. How do you capitalize the captured information into creation stage? So when you talk about the green design, the sustainable construction, in the pre-construction stage, how do you leverage the data which you have gathered? And that is where some of these platform applications, which allows to integrate the variety of sources of information, whether it is a cloud, whether it is a laser scan, whether it is a paper drawing, whether it is a manual intervention, everything should be able to consume. And last but not the least is consumption. How do you consume that designed information or captured information and flow it down to the last mile? Unless this information reaches down to the last mile in the manner they want it. And what is the last mile? The person who execute things on site, right? What to procure, when to procure, is it on site, is it on fabrication, is it in yards? How do you track the information? Cost of the construction needs to come down. Somehow we got to be competitive. So what is the best way to minimize that? How do you minimize the waste? If you're able to minimize 3 to 5% of your wastage, I think automatically this industry is going to be in positive trends. The cost overrun, I was happy to hear like one of the projects, I think from Zamil and Mr. Abhay also mentioned that they're able to complete this project without any errors, coordination error. It means it is a zero RFI. If the RFIs are less, the project is going to be on schedule. So that's how you save. So first thing I called surveying, capturing information. Then you talk about AR and VR, augmented reality, virtual reality. Now we are calling mixed reality. So rather than basically reviewing your design and construction model on site, you basically superimpose those models in the virtual space and you see where the problems are. And then cloud and social media is making a big impact. I give you one example, and I think a lot of panelists and my audience would also agree. Where do you spend the maximum time today? In the drawing preparation. Tekla does a great job, like in drawing preparation, and we are very happy. But imagine, why should I invest my time, whatever the time I take in Tekla even to do the drawing preparation? There is a lot of editing required. So we have artificial intelligence and machine learning. You have done thousands of such projects in past. I should be able to upload my model and I say, hey, this is my hospitality project, this is my industrial project, and this is the norms I'm using it. I just upload it and then say, I'm using the cloud enabled drawing generation services. I will not involve anybody in manual drafting process. Automatically it should happen. And how do I ensure that it is, and that is where the machine learning and the artificial intelligence comes into the picture. So whatever the changes we are making, it is adaptive. I'm saying these are the futuristic things where the work is basically going on. So we focus more on design, optimization, engineering, then focusing on that laborious work of drawing production and making those small errors. So I would call it capturing information, creating information, and consumption. At all these three levels, these digital technologies are making an impact. In India, it is slightly on the lower side, but I can certainly see it is catching up very fast.
The data is going to be a significant factor for PEB as well.
I think data is already available, and I would say, like everybody in the panel would agree, they have in their production environment, they have every type of a data. The question is, how do we most realistically and optimistically using that data to the last milestone? Right now, we are using the data in a particular domain. I am a design engineer. I will use the data only up to the design stage. The moment it goes to the fabricator, like the designer say, it's not my responsibility. Probably the fabricator has to start the model right from zero once again. Right. So in that case, I'm saying the information which is created at different phases of the project life cycle, we should be able to capitalize. And I think the present technology, I think at least from Trimble, I can say, is actually making this happen, right? And the best part is this has got the fastest computing power today. I can run my whole Tekla model and view it here. And it's a huge model, like multiple of MBs. I can actually see, and whether I'm sitting on my site in Rourkela, and maybe the design is happening in somewhere in Pune, what my designer has done, what information is passing without any delay, I can say it's the whole purpose of this digitalization is basically to avoid the time and cost overrun, how to reduce the wastage, how can we be more productive and deliver the more projects within the same time. And it is not like everything can be done in one go. It is the industry which is evolving, and that is how the software companies are taking this path.
As far as world data is concerned, the steel consumption is around 225 to 230 kg per capita, wherein in India in the last 5 years our consumption was around 57 to 58 kg. It has moved from that to 75 to 76 kg. So there is a big room available as a country to grow. Therein also there is an advantage if we go with PEB. So there is a room available for that.
There are two trends. India is becoming the largest producers of steel. I think nobody can deny that, right? I think USA at some point of a time, the China, and now the India, we are moving towards that. If the production is increasing, it means demand is certainly there, right? Maybe we are exporting to an extent, but we are talking about serving to the global demands. And I think various data sources and agencies suggest like in next 3 to 5 years, the average growth is going to be very well in double digit, healthy double digits, which can easily vary from 13 to 15%. So I think it is no question the average. And in India, the best part is we always requires a heavy structures. We just cannot rely on those conventional steel structures. Maybe in industrial segment it is fine, but if you talk about the general infrastructure, our bridges, our foot over bridges, our buildings, our occupancy rate is much higher compared to some of the Western countries. So I think PEB is going to be playing a major role, and we require the faster construction. We cannot wait for next 3-4 years to do this. If the Central Vista project needs to be completed by November, very unlikely. But if we require such type of a pace in our construction, the process-based construction is needed, and PEB is going to play a major role.
Surely we will
bring
come
in
to
a
that
point
point.
of the maintenance habits in our country. We are very poor on the maintenance part. So anything which is pre-engineered, anything which is off-site made and assembled will certainly have a better quality control, will have much more consistency. And when Harsh said about the foot over bridges and larger occupancy as compared to European, there again we need, because they are exposed to the extreme environment. So there we need products which can really last longer without someone really being attentive to them. Many of our failures are because we install well, we do good things in the beginning, but then we forget. So we need something which will perform well when we forget them. And that is possible with the complete pre-engineering. Anything pre-engineered, you will certainly do a good job. Simple example of a plumbing pipe fitting. When it is done on a pre-engineered thing, there's an SOP, there's a proper way of doing it, and it is done according to that, I see. But when we see in the actual execution, those connections of the plumbing pipes are done by the labor, and there's a variety of the labors available. So each one does according to him or her, and you don't get a consistent quality, and you get a lot of bad workmanship examples there. So they ultimately affect the life of the structure. So it is this pre-engineering, in effect, in way, will help us in the long run, means increasing the life of the structure also. And that's very well needed in our country. We need something which is done once, well done, and last longer. That's very good.
Mr. Shinde, just want to understand from you how important is the insulation material, use of advanced insulation materials in PEB structures.
Let me answer your question in a couple of points. So first of all, you're right. I mean, India has got a wide range of temperature. I mean, you have something extremely cold in Kashmir or some places, or Leh and Ladakh, and then you have something which is very, very hot in most of the manufacturing places like Chennai and Gurgaon, and also in Pune. And you have these PEB structures coming up like large football stadiums. If you look at Chakan today, or if you look at Bhiwandi, you will see PEB structures which are like spread across this thing. And the whole point is that if you need something, like Mr. Gupta also mentioned, you make something and then you need to forget about it. So first part is insulation, especially Elasto roof, something which ALP is making. It's got a life which can go on for 15 years, 20 years. So you don't really need to maintain. One of the examples of ALP, not in India, but abroad, was one of the airports that they built. They put an insulation material 25, 30 years back, and they went for remodeling the airport. When they opened the false ceiling, the ALP insulation material was still intact, completely intact. So we need materials like that. That is what the point Dr. Gupta also made. And secondly, I mean, insulation is required because you need to keep people cool, right? I mean, you have manpower inside, apart from materials. I'm not even going on the material side, but we have in India right now today, the whole part about labor benefits, labor welfare, and everything is coming into play. And I've worked for an air conditioning company for 15 years. I know the cost of keeping it cool. I mean, imagine a warehouse or a factory in Chakan. You go there in the month of May. Trust me, you need to, have an ice bucket right over you. So if you can have an insulating material which can prevent, like one of the delegates have also asked a question about the temperature differential which can be maintained. So the moment you have something like an Elasto roof on the roof, you are saving something around a chiller or any other material air conditioning equipment working 6 to 8 degrees. That is saved by the Elasto roof insulation itself. So your energy is saved quite a lot. Your people are happier. And many a times then you don't need to do anything which is mechanical. If you can just maintain that insulation material at the top to take the heat away, possibly you don't need chillers and coolers and wastage of mechanical this thing. Also, one of the things which I saw in one of the presentations was your hollow sidewalls. So you can have acoustic insulation inside these hollow sidewalls, which also prevents noise, propagating inside your particular space.
Not to this, but there's a question which is on the question box. One person has asked about the compliance of these new technologies with the NBC 2016 fire and other safety norms. Yes, they are all very well compliant. When BMTPC reviews the product, there's a set procedure, and based on the test data, those technologies are approved and included in the PACS. All of us, the participants and B2B, can propagate on their portal and the magazine that we should refer to those product details. We are not aware of many of those products which are really good, certified, and are documented there. So, and there are some very good other publications on BMTPC website which are freely downloadable, which will really help the construction industry. So those kind of things you can take, and maybe because yours is a very good platform, B2B, it goes to the many people. You can populate those things for the use of the industry. Our industry needs a lot of training. Let me say, we are not, our masons and the labor who work, skilled and unskilled on the site, still we are far away from being 100%, 50% off-site construction is a dream for us. It will take years. But whatever construction goes on the site, there is no monitoring, there is no control. That's one of the big issues. Another is we don't have a proper methodical training for the manpower. which is working there. So all those disadvantages immediately goes off in a prefabricated construction where everything is done under a proper technical supervision and under an SOP. So that's a very big positive development in the country.
Looking at the way how the steel prices are going high, what kind of advantage PEB is going to claim over conventional structures?
Yes, this is a kind of, we see this is a kind of the temporary in nature. See, the steel price increasing is not the problem, if you ask me. It is not getting stabilized is the problem. So the key problem here is, if you see from the December to till date, we cannot anticipate what is going to happen next month or thereafter. So challenges lies there only. So decisions by the investor, clients, or anyone who is going to construct the building, even let's say as Dr. Gupta was mentioning of the residential projects also. So the budget part of the project is fluctuating like anything, you know. So for us as a company, we are not audit for the rate increase of the steel, because eventually it will settle down. Our worry is the fluctuation and when it is going to be stabilized, how long it will take to stabilize. That's the main concern. And definitely, as a product, the overall efficiency lies into the end-to-end services, as I was mentioning in my presentation, which Dr. Abhay Gupta has strongly presented, that it is not only the steel, it is the entire accessories of the building. Even Mr. Tushar has also added into that. So, you know, that is why my point was, I briefly touched upon that in today's world, if you see, it's a kind of commodity. Whether you purchase a watch from Amazon or building from XYZ company, the customer is same. So that digital or kind of service exposure into the product is the on first priority. How you are going to manufacture it, how capable is your design is, what kind of element you have put to make that product efficient, those are important. But in today's world, the service centric and the digitalization effect of service, if we are not putting at industry, then it will not be recognized for the long run, because current flavor of the day is that.
How technology is assisting in terms of making PEB customizable for designers?
How do you integrate the various set of informations and leverage to maximize your design to the best outcome? So, as I say, this is the most important factor, because architects are kind of imagines like how my design, how my structure should be crafted. They can simply come back and say, hey, this is my hand and I want to design a structure or building of my hand shape. Now the question is, this aesthetic, how it needs to be done. So the great example I can tell you is the Statue of Unity in India. It was beautifully conceptualized, nicely designed, and timely fabricated. And this is the great example where the architects, engineers, fabricators, and contractors, they all worked. And happy to mention that Tekla remained the core of this entire process. So it's an important aspect, and this is one platform which is so open, which can integrate the variety of informations and help every stakeholders in the process to leverage.
Well, we have to change our mindsets to have complete pre-engineered construction, not the part-wise. If in a relay race, out of 4 racers, 4 participants, if one is slower, then the race is lost. So all components of a project should run at the same pace to achieve a proper result. And that is where all our friends, Tekla on one hand, which is a platform to integrate everything, Zamil Steel, the pre-engineered building, all different things together, Mr. Tushar on the services aspects, So we all should have a common platform, common understanding, and the planning and construction should be thought together. In our country, as very rightly said, we do independent working, and very rarely we integrate them, and that is where when we start executing, many aspects are left here or there. So integrated thinking, integrated planning, integrated designing, and integrated execution, that is where we will achieve. And it is not far away. We have started learning that. The only thing is it has to be percolated down. That's very important. The small structures, the brick and concrete has to be replaced. Concrete to be replaced with a precast concrete, but the bricks and blocks need to be replaced with something different. They are not only damaging our environment, but they are putting unnecessary load on the structure, and they are a maintenance point in the building. A concrete without plaster works well for years, but a concrete or an element with plaster, cement plaster, damages very fast. Correct? So that complete integrated pre-engineering has to be percolated, and somewhere it should be brought into our curriculum. Unfortunately, still today, that is not a part of our education. Nowhere.
Thank you, panelists, for exchanging your valuable thoughts on today's topic, PEB, Rapid Construction for the Future. Delegates, we hope you have enjoyed it. Before wrapping up today's session, we would like to thank a distinguished panelist, Dr. Abhay Gupta, Mr. Harsh Parikh, Mr. Tushar Shinde, and Mr. Dev. So with this, we would like to announce the closing of today's session. I request you to stay tuned for future sessions. Thank you and goodbye.